How can I tell him that in this world, too many males fail to be men? Take what they want, then they sail to the wind. Treat them like scum, beat them like a drum. How the hell could you do that to your own son's mum?
Yeah, I first started getting interested in poetry at a really young age. I mean, my mum always tells this story that supposedly when I was a young child, I was always really interested in those building blocks with the letters on them, and I'd always be arranging them into patterns. And then later on, you know, in primary school, without much encouragement, I would always just be writing little poems about, you know, whatever I was interested in, if it was dinosaurs or Greek myths or whatever. And then later on it sort of started to flourish in late primary school, and then in high school I really got into it in a really major way, and I was just non-stop writing poetry. And then eventually I found hip-hop, which I thought was a really great way of expressing myself. You know, and it was also something that was very accessible and very modern, and I thought that sort of differentiated it from sort of the dusty old books that someone would give you in English in high school or something.
I'm sitting here envisioning my firstborn child, waiting for the first time my firstborn smiles. Poised in position, I point the camcorder. My boy's in the kitchen with gift transformers. I
try to write about just everyday life and try and, you know, see, I guess, grains of truth in just everyday experiences that I go through, whether it be my relationship with my father. That was a poem I sort of did at the National Poetry Slam, or whether it's something like watching the Cronulla riots on TV, or even just catching the bus to work every day. I just try and describe everyday events in my life and try and do it in a sharp and precise and poetic way.
How can I tell him that it's a world of dark ghettos and slums? Instead of food for mouths, it's metal for guns. People settle for funds less than minimum wage. Rose petals on graves, violence, venom and rage.
Hip-hop artists are the sort of popular poets of our generation, you know, of my generation. And because as sad as it is, you know, a young person wouldn't go out and just buy an anthology of Seamus Heaney or something like that. And you know, that's a sad state of affairs, but they would go out and buy a Jay-Z record, which is an intensely dense lyrical format, and it's poetry.
I remember my dad showed me snow when I was 2 years old, Mum's golden glow when I was 12 years old. I'd flow my poems when I was 22 and I sold my soul.
I was amazed to hear that people were telling me that they were crying during my performance, and you know, people would come up to me and say that I'd moved them to tears, which was just an amazing feeling, because I can definitely say that's never happened when I've been rapping in a club or anything like that. I think until the day I die, I'll be writing poetry. I'm not sure I'll be rapping. I think rapping is a young man's sport, and I can't really imagine myself with a walking frame getting up and trying to rock a crowd.
But I keep seeing dreams of being redeemed, pushing prams, picture-perfect summer sunbeams, but it all melts away. I'm at home again, with my face to the stars, alone with my pen.